You guys really liked the last time I talked about new uniforms back in July. Thank you so much for all the support there. It is still by far my most successful video. Since then, there have been 28 teams to unveil new uniforms. Some have full new sets, some are just a helmet, and I'm going to analyze all of them, give my opinions, and a rating between 1 and 10. Let's get into it. Louisville is bringing back these black jerseys from the 1980s. They're very simple, very clean, and they pop a lot. I like the black jerseys with the red outlines and the white numbers. You see a similar pattern on these stripes as well. Just put a little bit of black in between the red and white. It is super clean. The Louisville bird on the back is nice. I would like to see these uniforms on an actual player and also see what Louisville's going to wear them with. For example, are they going to bring out some new black helmets? Are they going to wear these with white? Who knows at this point? These are very clean, 9 out of 10. Raleigh is known as the City of Oaks. NC State and Adidas are honoring them with these beautiful new uniforms. So a couple things that I love are, first, just how unique the uniforms are. Let's just look at the stripes on the shoulders. Nobody has stripes that look like that, as far as I know. And the most defining thing of the uniform is this acorn pattern that you see right across the chest here. It is very bold. It's not like anything that I have seen in a while. My first thought is it kind of looked like the old gator skin uniforms from Florida that are awful, but thankfully this is a little bit different, and it does work out a lot better for NC State, in my opinion. Overall, these are super clean, just got red and white, and they do it in a very unique way. I love these uniforms. I think these are 9 out of 10s easily. ECU went back to their gloss purple helmets, and look, these are just some simple, very clean, very nice helmets. I do wish that ECU still had their chrome purple, which I don't think they will have anymore. These are beautiful, very simple, very nice, 7 out of 10. FAU redid their uniforms for the first season of Zach Kitley, and more importantly, the 25th year in program history. I am not a big fan of these. FAU has had some decent uniforms, nothing crazy for me over the past couple of years, and I think this is a downgrade. What I do like with these the most is anything with white. The white, blue, white uniforms are very clean. The all whites are pretty nice as well. The all blues, in my opinion, are really bad. I hope FAU does not wear them very often. And I also am not a big fan of the numbers. The numbers are very large, very blocky, and maybe this uniform could use some more text. The old uniforms, for example, said FAU on them. Maybe that'd be nice to have as well. Just something else to break it up a little bit more. Helmets too, I'm not a huge fan of. I like the other logo that FAU has instead of the Florida logo. With numbers on the other side, it's not an amazing look. Overall, I'm going to say these are 5 out of 10s. I missed these gray Memphis uniforms last time. These came out a while ago, back in April. They are pretty similar to the old gray ones they had. A couple differences are white outlines around the numbers and the Memphis font, and the Memphis font is a little bit smaller as well. These are super clean. I love Memphis's uniforms. They are so unique. Awesome uniforms, 8 out of 10. Tulane didn't change up much of their uniforms, and that is a very good thing. They've had some of the best looks in the country for a while now. Only change they made is just updating the word mark. I like the word mark even more, and man, this is already a 10 out of 10 uniform. I guess this is still a 10 out of 10. What else can I say? UAB made 2 changes to the uniforms this year. First, the green jerseys. They made 2 changes to that. They updated the word mark. I think the word mark change is a pretty big downgrade. The old one had a lot more character. And the other improvement, in my opinion, is getting rid of these kind of weird white lines that are on the top front-ish of the jersey. I guess cattle horns, for lack of a better term. I really don't know why UAB had them. I didn't think they looked good at all. This is a improvement overall, although it would have been even nicer if UAB kept the old word mark. The other change that UAB did made, if you look above, is the reintroduction of gold helmets. UAB has had gold helmets for a very long time, with the one exception being 2024. Fans absolutely hated that change. I did too. Very glad to see these return. Overall, I do think these are just 7 out of 10s. I like the helmets a lot. They are very clean, very historic to what UAB's always worn. The jerseys are kind of mediocre. UTSA was one of those programs that switched uniform providers this offseason, and they got some very plain uniforms from Nike, in my opinion. I just think of Virginia. When I first see these teams, I'd say they both have the same color scheme, but the stripes are very similar between the two programs as well. Although UTSA does provide some more cool elements with that UTSA on the chest and the number font that is a little more unique, and I think that is pretty cool. But overall, these are just very plain. There's no TV numbers on there, for example, only white and blue uniforms, and there is a good chance that UTSA will add more stuff right now, but seeing what they had before with Adidas, I think this is a downgrade. I think these are just kind of whatever uniforms. Just give me 5 out of 10 for these. Nebraska will be wearing these black uniforms to honor their black shirt defenses. And when you look at these, you really just see that they took the normal red uniforms, just replaced all the red with black, called it an alternate, and called it a day. Seems like they also took notes from Iowa State, who just loves to break out the black and white uniforms pretty much whenever they get. All jokes aside, it's pretty clean. I do like the story behind it. I just kind of wish that they could have got some red in there. And I also just think it's kind of, I don't know. When I see Nebraska, I always think of them wearing white and red. They're just such a historic school that it just seems weird for them to be in any form of alternates. As it is, though, I think these are just 6 out of 10s. There's better black uniforms for sure. Wisconsin chose to honor their teams from the 80s with these new throwback uniforms, and these are super clean. I think I like them more than the normal look for Wisconsin. I would be very happy if they went to these full time. So the first thing that I love about these uniforms is the sleeves. You have 2 stripes, which also have Bucky the Badger and a W on top of it. Just a super clean logo. I love seeing that. I also like the helmet as well. Just a flat black W. Kind of looks like what Washington has, but just in red. Super clean as well. Numbers are cool as well. These are just some really nice, very well executed throwbacks. Just feels like Wisconsin. Feels beautiful to look at. Give me a 9 out of 10 for these. Look, I don't know why Baylor went away with those beautiful uniforms they had in the 2010s, but a key piece of them, the chrome gold helmet, is back. These are just awesome. I mean, what more could you want from chrome gold helmets? They're awesome, man. If I had to make a nitpick, I want to say it looks slightly different than the old ones in the 2010s. Maybe it's just camera quality or lighting, something along those lines. These are still awesome, though. 10 out of 10, no doubt. I forgot to talk about these helmets last time. My bad, Iowa State fans, but you guys got some very nice lids right here. First, anytime you guys are actually wearing red helmets instead of those stupid black ones is awesome. Love the script on it as well. I don't love the Iowa State logo that Iowa State currently uses, so anytime you can get away from that too is really nice. Overall, super clean. Love the stripe. 8 out of 10. Kansas has these new White Hawk alternate uniforms, and to be honest, I'm not a big fan of them. I don't like the circus font that they use. It's something that they have used for a long time in basketball. They use it on their black alternates, which look just like this, but in black pretty much. I just don't think that on a football jersey it looks too good. It takes up a lot of space as well. There are a couple cool details on it, like the K flag on the back of the jersey above the nameplate. That's a pretty cool feature. Overall, these don't really do anything for me. I like Kansas's normal away uniforms a little bit more. I'm going to say 4 out of 10. Kansas State doesn't change up their uniforms very often, but playing Dublin in week 0 was a good enough reason to switch things up. So here's what they did. They added a new stripe to their traditional silver helmets to honor Irish culture. I think it looks pretty cool. I don't love the Kansas State helmet as it is. I think it's pretty clean though. It fits the uniform, fits Kansas State's culture. It is somewhat plain as well. With these though, I'm going to say 7 out of 10. I like the stripe a lot. I think it bumps it up by a point for me. 2025 is the 100th year of Texas Tech football, and to honor that, Adidas has come out with these new uniforms for the Red Raiders. So just looking at it, there is really a lot going on. If you just started with the helmet, you have stars and a logo and a red stripe down the middle. If you look at the sleeves, for example, you have a double T logo with no bevel. That means a lot to some people that are Texas Tech fans, with an interesting pattern next to it as well. I think those elements are both very clean. I love the double T logo. I also love the stars with it as well. An element that I don't like as much is the tech along the chest. I think it would have been cooler if either Texas Tech didn't put anything there or put Texas Tech. Maybe you could have put Matadors, which was the original name for Texas Tech before they became the Red Raiders. Other than that, the numbers are pretty clean. The white pants are a cool addition. I think I would have liked red more, just being the Red Raiders. And I think the black with the red could have looked really cool as well. But overall, these are unique uniforms. I love it when teams do something unique instead of something like those plain UTSA uniforms. Good, unique uniforms are fantastic. These are 8 out of 10s. Sticking with unique uniforms, Kennesaw State isn't as bold as Texas Tech. I mean, hardly anybody in the country is, but these are really nice. I love the wing patterns they have on the side. It matches the Owl's name, obviously, and it just looks really clean. It's very well executed. I like the helmet options. Yellow is probably my favorite, but the flat white and flat black are pretty nice, pretty solid as well. The only thing I'm not a huge fan of with these uniforms is with the name on the jersey. I wish that the white uniform also said Owls instead of Kennesaw State. I think that just fits better and looks better. But overall, man, these are super nice. I want to say 9 out of 10 here. New Mexico State unveiled these new maroon uniforms, and I'm not a fan of them at all. To be honest, it feels like Under Armour just said, hey, we have this new uniform template. Can we please use it with you? Or maybe they didn't even get that far in asking. It just seems it's unique, I guess. That's one good thing. I know I talk about unique uniforms a lot, but a bad unique uniform, it just looks bad. I don't want to hate on it the whole time. The maroon color is nice, and I really do like the logo on the chest, the New Mexico State. I think that is super clean. But these uniforms just don't do it for me. I like their older maroon options better, which they still have that same template in white and black. And I really hope they wear those white and blacks all 12 games this year. 3 out of 10. This one hasn't officially been unveiled yet, as you can see by the quality and the backdrop. Shout out uniform reveals with the urinal in the background. But Sam Houston will have these new gray uniforms, and they're kind of fine, I guess. There are a couple orange elements, which I do like, so it's not just gray and white. Obviously the helmet, but the stripe on the pants and a stripe around the sleeve of the jersey. That's pretty clean. The numbers are cool. Those are unique. I don't love these gray uniforms that are just gray to be gray to be unique, I guess. But these are fine. They get the job done. 6 out of 10. Toledo made 2 changes to the uniforms this offseason. First, they redid their blue home uniforms. These are very similar. The only changes that I see at least are updating to the new Nike template, putting a Toledo word mark underneath the collar and removing the Toledo logo from the collar. These are still some nice uniforms. Nothing crazy though. I think they are a slight downgrade if anything, but still 7 out of 10s. The other change for Toledo is these new white helmets. I think these are super clean. You can't go wrong with the white helmet. I love the speckles on them as well. Love a white helmet with speckles, and teams don't really do that too often. Logo pops really well, so does the face mask. These are really nice. I'm going to say 7 out of 10 for these as well. We've got a lot to talk about with Air Force. First, their new Space Force uniforms. They have these for all sports, but this is just a football channel. We're just going to talk about football. And I absolutely love these. Air Force just does not miss with their uniforms. They're one of those programs that are super consistent. These are beautiful. The all black is nice. It looks really sharp here. There's a couple blue elements, but it is mainly white. The helmet is awesome. This is one of the coolest helmets I've ever seen. You've got 2 different logos, and I can't tell if this is just the lighting or if it is a gradient. I think it is just blue though. I love the Air Force logo with the star on it, and that's on one side. The other side you have USSF for the United States Space Force. It's a cool touch. It looks so cool overall. I love these. 10 out of 10. Air Force also dropped these F-16 Fighting Falcon uniforms. They're all gray with a helmet that replicates what a fighter pilot in the F-16 would wear. The helmet also honors Colonel William Andrew, an Air Force alum that was shot down in Operation Desert Storm, with his call sign Psycho on the helmet and also on the jersey. Look, I love that Air Force does uniforms like this to honor the military branch and soldiers. Aesthetically, I don't think these are as good as the Space Force unis. I will still say these are 8 out of 10s though. Look, Air Force doesn't miss. The last time I talked about Hawaii, it was after they just unveiled their black uniforms. They had the white ones in CFB 26, but not official, no good images. But Hawaii wore their all whites in their week 0 win over Stanford, and I'm a big fan. They really remind me, at least the jerseys and the pants, of what Hawaii had in the 2010s with Under Armour. Pretty clean look. I like it with Nike a little bit more, I might say. Maybe it is the word mark that looks slightly different. Maybe it's the helmets. I'm not sure. Very unique uniforms. I love that. Love the white and the green. 8 out of 10. New Mexico simplified their uniforms, and I think these are really clean. I like the number font and the word mark. There's a couple other cool elements. For example, there is a greave pattern that goes on the pants and goes around the collar. That is pretty cool. You don't see that very often. And I like anything that is unique. Helmets are pretty clean. They're not outstanding, just kind of a silver with a red face mask and the traditional New Mexico logo. But overall, these are pretty clean, fairly basic, but they get the job done. They look pretty sharp. I'm happy with these for New Mexico. 6 out of 10. This is where things get interesting. New Mexico is bringing back their turquoise uniforms. This is the first time New Mexico will wear turquoise uniforms since 1976, and also wear them with a variety of helmet options. My personal favorite is the silver ones. I think it's a cool striping with the blue and the red down the middle, matches the sleeves. The red one is pretty clean as well. I do like the Lobos word mark on it. The whites are kind of fine. I believe they're the same ones we looked at earlier. But overall, man, these are very clean. They're super unique. This is something that can help New Mexico stand out, despite being just one of those programs in the Mountain West that hasn't really been good recently. I love these, 9 out of 10. San Jose State didn't make a big change to their uniforms. They also did not provide very many good pictures of their new uniforms. But aside from that, the changes they did make, they added a yellow collar. They changed up the logo on the sleeves. Now it is just their main San Jose State logo. And the word mark used to just say San Jose State in yellow text. Now it is white with a yellow outline. I mean, I've never really loved San Jose State's uniforms. Thought they were just kind of fine. These, again, are about the same. I'm going to say 5 out of 10. They're clean. I like the colors. Nothing crazy. I talked about Mississippi State in the first video, and everything I said was not very good. But Mississippi State has come out with some more uniforms, and they're an upgrade. So first are these blackouts. I think these are pretty clean. I don't always love blackouts, but for Mississippi State, I think it works with them. They've done it a couple times now. There's enough maroon elements to make it work. These aren't just your Iowa State, Nebraska, black and whites. Pretty clean. The star of the show, though, I think, are these white interlocking helmets. It is the old MSU logo that they wore in the late 90s. Mississippi State came out with a throwback with this helmet in maroon 2 years ago, which will also be back this year, but the white helmet is new. I like the interlocking logo a lot. I really hope Mississippi State goes to this as their primary helmet, either as white or maroon. The dark mode, the blackouts, I will say those are 5 out of 10s. No, I'll say 6. They're okay. Not outstanding, though. The helmets are really clean. I'm going to say 7. Ole Miss has some of the best uniforms in the country, and they added to their fantastic collection with these new gray stone helmets. Look, I love these. I love the details behind the helmet. The Ole Miss logo and the stripes, they pop as well. The only thing that I'm not a huge fan of, I don't love the gray face mask. If they could have used the pattern from the helmet on the face mask, that would be awesome. I also think a navy face mask would look better. Still, these are super clean. Going to look fantastic when Ole Miss breaks them out. 8 out of 10. I'm a pretty simple guy. If I see chrome helmets, I'm going to like them. And I really like these new helmets for Arkansas State. Maybe not my favorite choice for the logo. I think the regular Arkansas State Wolf logo looks pretty clean and also looks good on helmets. But the Red Wolves cursive does the trick. Stripe down the middle is pretty clean as well. I like these, man. 7 out of 10. To go along with the new uniforms that Marshall unveiled earlier this year, they have brought out these green helmets for the first time in a long time. And I know a lot of people that I've seen love these. I'm not a huge fan. For whatever reason, I just don't think the green helmet works for Marshall. I like when they stick with their white, maybe black if they want to mix things up and go for a blackout. But for whatever reason, seeing it on the field, it doesn't look great. I don't know why. I think it just feels like something that should look better than it does. I think of the Florida blue helmets, for example, as a comparison. They're fine as it is, but on field, I don't like them that much. 4 out of 10. I'm not a huge fan of matte black helmets. That is what ULM has here with these new alternate lids. When I see them, my first thought is not ULM at all. My first thought is it's a star. Seems like something in the military. Maybe this could be an Army helmet. Kind of looks like maybe a gas station logo or something that doesn't scream football. For that reason, I am not a fan of these at all. They're very plain as well. There's no stripe down the middle, for example, which could make these look better. I think these are maybe the worst thing I've looked at today, maybe a 1 out of 10. If you're still here, I want to thank you for tuning in and letting me show you the new uniforms in college football this season and give my thoughts on them. I'm super excited to see all these in action, well, except ULM, and just get back to football season. Thank you again.